Hello my dear friends, how are you today? Welcome to my channel. مرحبا أصدقائي على قناتي Study in English. درس اليوم الدرس التاسع عشر من سلسلة تعلم تكلم باللغة الإنجليزية بدون قواعد للكبار وأيضا للتلاميذ والطلبة. وسأبدأ الدرس بجمل قصيرة مهمة. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Tell her the story. Tell her the story. Tell her the story. Tell him to wait. Tell him to wait. Tell him to wait. Tell us the secret. Tell us the secret. Tell us the secret. Tell them your plan. Tell them your plan. Tell them your plan. Tell me your name. Tell me your name. Tell me your name. Tell her to stop. Tell her to stop. Tell her to stop. Tell him the news. Tell him the news. Tell him the news. Tell us your idea. Tell us your idea. Tell us your idea. Tell them to leave. Tell them to leave. Tell them to leave. Tell me to come. Tell me to come. Tell me to come. Tell him to hurry. Tell him to hurry. Tell him to hurry. Tell us what happened. Tell us what happened. Tell us what happened. Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Tell me about yesterday. Tell me about yesterday. Tell me about yesterday. Tell her to relax. Tell her to relax. Tell her to relax. Tell him to listen. Tell him to listen. Tell him to listen. Tell us your story. Tell us your story. Tell us your story. Tell them to try. Tell them to try. Tell them to try. Tell me to stay. Tell me to stay. Tell me to stay. Tell her the answer. Tell her the answer. Tell her the answer. Tell him to study. Tell him to study. Tell him to study. Tell us your fears. Tell us your fears. Tell us your fears. Tell them it's fine. Tell them it's fine. Tell them it's fine. Tell me the reason. Tell me the reason. Tell me the reason. Tell her your dream. Tell her your dream. Tell her your dream. Tell him the rules. Tell him the rules. Tell him the rules. Tell us about school. Tell us about school. Tell us about school. Tell them the plan. Tell them the plan. Tell them the plan. Tell me your secret. Tell me your secret. Tell me your secret. Tell her to write. Tell her to write. Tell her to write. Tell him your idea. Tell him your idea. Tell him your idea. Tell us your hopes. Tell us your hopes. Tell us your hopes. Tell them about work. Tell them about work. Tell them about work. Tell me your opinion. Tell me your opinion. Tell me your opinion. Tell her to leave. Tell her to leave. Tell her to leave. Tell him it's over. Tell him it's over. Tell him it's over. Tell us to begin. Tell us to begin. Tell us to begin. Tell them it's true. Tell them it's true. Tell them it's true. Tell me your problem. Tell me your problem. Tell me your problem. Tell her the joke. Tell her the joke. Tell her the joke. Tell him the facts. Tell him the facts. Tell him the facts. Tell us your dream. Tell us your dream. Tell us your dream. Tell them to wait. Tell them to wait. Tell them to wait. Tell me your wish. Tell me your wish. Tell me your wish. Tell her it's done. Tell her it's done. Tell her it's done. Tell him to help. Tell him to help. Tell him to help. Tell us the answer. Tell us the answer. Tell us the answer. Tell them your goals. Tell them your goals. Tell them your goals. Tell me to listen. Tell me to listen. Tell me to listen. Tell her the truth. Tell her the truth. Tell her the truth. Tell him about it. Tell him about it. Tell him about it. Tell us to move. Tell us to move. Tell us to move. Tell me to think. Tell me to think. Tell me to think. Tell her the news. Tell her the news. Tell her the news. Tell him your plans. Tell him your plans. Tell him your plans. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself. Tell them to sit. Tell them to sit. Tell them to sit. Tell me to relax. Tell me to relax. Tell me to relax. Tell her to hurry. Tell her to hurry. Tell her to hurry. Tell him the way. Tell him the way. Tell him the way. Tell us the story. Tell us the story. Tell us the story. Tell them it's okay. Tell them it's okay. Tell them it's okay. Tell me about today. Tell me about today. Tell me about today. Tell her to drive. Tell her to drive. Tell her to drive. Tell him your fears. Tell him your fears. Tell him your fears. Tell us the time. Tell us the time. Tell us the time. Tell them to follow. Tell them to follow. Tell them to follow. Tell me about life. Tell me about life. Tell me about life. Tell her to study. Tell her to study. Tell her to study. Tell him to call. Tell him to call. Tell him to call. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. Tell them to start. Tell them to start. Tell them to start. Tell me your idea. Tell me your idea. Tell me your idea. Tell her it's safe. Tell her it's safe. Tell her it's safe. Tell him to stay. Tell him to stay. Tell him to stay. Tell us about plants. Tell us about plants. Tell us about plants. Tell them to smile. Tell them to smile. Tell them to smile. Tell me to write. Tell me to write. Tell me to write. Tell her to cook. Tell her to cook. Tell her to cook. Tell him to read. Tell him to read. Tell him to read. Tell us to help. Tell us to help. Tell us to help. Tell them to sleep. Tell them to sleep. Tell them to sleep. Tell me the facts. Tell me the facts. Tell me the facts. Tell her your story. Tell her your story. Tell her your story. Tell him the truth. Tell him the truth. Tell him the truth. Tell us the secret. Tell us the secret. Tell us the secret. Tell them it's hard. Tell them it's hard. Tell them it's hard. Tell me the joke. Tell me the joke. Tell me the joke. Tell her the rules. Tell her the rules. Tell her the rules. Tell him the answer. Tell him the answer. Tell him the answer. Tell us your dream. Tell us your dream. Tell us your dream. Tell them it's fine. Tell them it's fine. Tell them it's fine. Tell me your feelings. Tell me your feelings. Tell me your feelings. Tell him to start. Tell him to start. Tell him to start. Tell us your goal. Tell us your goal. Tell us your goal. Tell them to stop. Tell them to stop. Tell them to stop. وهذه كانت نهايتنا للفيديو. أتمنى أن ينال إعجابكم. لا تنسوا دعمنا بالاشتراك في القناة وتفعيل زر الجرس ليصلكم كل جديد. وإن عجبكم الفيديو اضغطوا زر اللايك. So goodbye my friends. See you next time.